Calling from Florida Attractions Association. And we have with us today from your FAA staff, Mike Donaldson, our Manager of Member Services, and Daniel Douglas, our Manager of Communications. And our presenters today are two of our FAA members, Nick Romeo from Double T Multimedia, who's one of our past chairman of the board, and Christina Schwartzman from Sawgrass Recreation Park. She's currently the treasurer of the Florida Attractions Association. And a lot of credit go to Nick and Chrissy. They have contributed a great deal of time and effort to help us put together this program. This will be our second TnT show, the first one being June of last year, just after our annual conference. And we wanted to separate the TnT show from the conference and have it a standalone event in Orlando, where it was more centrally located and available for our members to participate in. So we have a couple of things that we want to do today in preparation for the TnT show. One is just some general information that will help our attraction members and DMO members prepare for the TnT show. And then we're also going to get some insight into how to actually go through the process of, first of all, it's a three-step process. First of all, registering for the TnT show, and then second of all, creating your profile, and that's done on our appointment scheduling software program, and third of all, requesting appointments. And we'll be providing a live demonstration in just a few minutes from Daniel Douglas. But before we do the live demo, we're going to kick it off with Nick and Christina, who's going to give us some insight into how to prepare for the TnT show. Nick and Christina, take it away.
Hey, Chrissy, are you on this? I didn't know if you were there already.
I'm here, Nick. I'm here.
Okay. Do you want to start off, and then I'll go with the types of buyers and stuff? How about that?
That sounds good. Okay, guys. So what we're talking about in terms of what you're going to need to bring to be prepared for the TnT show when you're going to be meeting with the buyers. The first thing is, strong visuals about your facility. It could be your one-sheeter. I know some people bring like a physical notebook or a binder that has some different images from their facility. A lot of people are now using tablets and computers to click through a visual presentation or a slideshow, as well as some compelling video content. So remember that the appointments are relatively brief in nature, so you won't have a ton of time to show them lots of materials. So just keep it brief and to the point, and just bring the strongest things you have to give an overall representation of a true experience at your facility. Do your research ahead of time. We are going to get into the scheduling process and how to register. My opinion is, with a show like this, there is not such a large number of buyers that you can't do footwork on everybody. So typically when there's anything less than 50 buyers that are going to be registered, I go ahead and start researching all of the companies that are going to be in attendance. I check out the type of business that they do, maybe the markets that they generate that business from, and where they are currently taking their clients to, or where they're booking to. And that way, even if I meet them at the trade show and it's not during a meeting, I have a good understanding of whether or not my company and their company are even able to do business together. Not every buyer is going to be a good buyer for your business and your attraction, and they won't all be the best fit. So this is a good time to rule it out and kind of rank in your head who is the most important and most likely to do business with you, as well as maybe who would not be qualified. The last thing on the previous page was to bring your contracts or your net rate. So if you know the type of companies that are going to be there, that you're going to be meeting, please be prepared with the appropriate rates that your attraction is willing to offer and extend to them. Most of them may not necessarily sign on the dotted line during that meeting. It may take place afterwards or with another person from their organization overseeing that contract. But it is, in my opinion, the most professional thing to do to be fully prepared to go completely full with the agreement, make sure that you have everything in place that they would need so they can go back with all of the answers to whoever they need to provide that to, or be fully prepared to work with your company in the immediate future should they wish to do so. Okay, next slide. Nick, that's you.
Let me jump in on that too, Chrissy. Please, when you're bringing your information, the best thing to make sure is only bring that one sheeter. Now, if this is your first time doing one of these shows, we could help you with that, but there's some of you that have already done multiple shows, but only bring that one sheet of information. That's going to give you all the who, what, where, when, why of your attraction. You don't have to put your discounted rate, your net rates on there, but also be prepared that most of these buyers that we're going to be seeing are expecting a net rate of probably 20 to 30% off your gate, okay? So be prepared if this is your first show, okay? So just remember that and make sure you have that. But like Chrissy said, you don't have to put it on the one sheeter. If you don't want to, you could also give them a USB. And on that USB, you could put any of your videos, your photos. They look for that immediately, okay?
Wow.
So let me go on to, now we could, if anyone has any questions on those one sheeters, please contact Chrissy and I. I work with 11 clients, 11 attractions. We have one sheeters, and we could help design that for you if you need to, okay? So what we want to go over is some of the buyers that we're going to be seeing, and we're adding buyers every day of the resellers that are going to be at the event. So you might have an online, we definitely have online tour operators or travel agents that are on there that are actually going to be selling your tickets. I know Booking.com is going to be there. So they're, an entity that basically a guest who's shopping around for their family vacation is looking online, and at Booking.com they're probably booking their hotel. And now they just started about 6 months ago adding attractions. So this is brand new. They are looking for as many attractions as possible to get onto the booking site, and that's a very, very popular site. Your FIT, your free independent traveler, that you basically, those are our individual families that sometimes are buying through operators, through them tour operators or receptive operators that are based in the state of Florida. So these are the families that are coming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at a time from South America, from England, or whatever on that. A receptive operator, if anyone doesn't know what that is, that's basically ones that sell to groups that come into town, or FIT, okay? So they're bringing in large quantities, like if you're in Orlando, we're used to the Brazilian market. So it's usually coming through receptive operators, okay? And then they're selling their individual tickets from there. Some of our other things are basic tour operators that we have. Now we're hoping, we know that we have in our membership, we have youth operators. That also covers sports. It also covers seniors, senior citizens, and the senior market. It also could continue with a military group coming through the tour operator too. So these are the ones that we're looking at that are there. And then we also have our corporate and convention business, which might come through a destination management company, like a Hello Florida, which is a very large company that sells big, like if Toyota's coming into town. If Toyota's coming into town, they'll be dealing with everything. They'll book all the hotels, the buses, and their adventures or attractions, okay? So these are some of the operators that we're gonna have and see that you'll be able to look at. And please, like when you're doing a show, as we start booking our appointments, a lot of us who have been to shows know that operators are constantly signing up. So you need to keep watching our registration, because 2 operators might sign up today. 1 operator might sign up tomorrow.
Mom?
You gotta keep on top of that, okay?
Damn it.
All righty. If anybody's on there, just make sure you're on mute, okay? Does anyone have any questions on any of these operators? And do you understand your wholesale rates, your net rates, so that you understand those? Please let us know if you have any questions on that while we're on the call. And then our location. We'll go to the next slide that Chrissy and I have, is our location, and how we're going to be doing the appointments. It's at Andretti Karting in Orlando on Universal Boulevard. If you are attending the marketing and sales event on the 8th and 9th, it is at the same location. We'll just be in a different room in at Andretti. And then it's a reverse style trade show, meaning we as the attractions and as the DMOs, because we do have some DMOs coming, some destination management organizations, we're going to be rotating. The tour operators and the ticket sellers are going to be sitting. The buyers are going to be sitting. Bill, I don't remember offhand how long is each meeting?
There'll be 24 12-minute appointments.
Thank you, Daniel. So I think Bill had left already. So they're 12-minute sessions, and I'm being honest with you, 12 minutes goes really fast, especially if you're going to show a video. And I'm being honest with you, bring a video on an iPad. If these people have never worked with you before and this is a new contract, they're going to want to know who they're going to work with before they're even leaving the event that day. All right. So make sure you're prepared to have all that information. And please remember, don't bring a lot of stuff. They don't want to take a lot of stuff home with them. Okay. They just need a one-sheeter information and the USB and your business card, and that's how they're going to do it. And be prepared to have your contracts ready for them when they're gone on there. All righty.
Matt, let
Chris,
me answer your question. Matt just posed a question about, do they get all 24 appointments? It depends on the number of buyer to supplier ratio that we are able to achieve before registration closes out. So last year, we had a good number of buyers and suppliers that were in attendance, and I believe I had 15 or 16 appointments personally, and it was about the same exact number for everybody. So I did have some openings, but I did have a lot of meetings, and they were strong meetings. So it will just depend on the final number of the amount of people that we have sign up from either side of the line. We will make the most full possible schedule that we can for everybody.
And when you're booking your appointments on everything and you think you need to take a break and you don't want to go back-to-back appointments, shut an appointment off. Don't book yourself in that appointment, okay? So if you say, oh, I just need like every 4 or 5 appointments, I need a few minutes to myself just to reorganize because this is your first show, don't think you have to do every single one of those appointments, okay? Take that break, take a breather, go to the next one then, okay? Reorganize. You just have to take your notes. You know, I mean, we've done shows, many of us, and Chrissy could do this. We go to a show that we have 50 appointments in a day and a half, 60 appointments in a day and a half, you know, and you just have to just kind of take time, breathe, and go to the next one. Don't rush anything and take your time. And Chrissy and I will be on the floor the whole time. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask us. If this is your first time doing the show, and I see there are some people that have never done shows before coming to this. All righty?
Okay, for the post-show follow-up, it is important to agree on the timeline that everything is going to be achieved after your meeting. So for example, I'm very clear with them, I'm going to give you 3 or 4 days to get back to your office. Then I'm going to be sending you a follow-up email. The follow-up email will include the following items. It'll include that video link I promised you or those high-res images that you're going to need. So I make sure that we establish that ahead of time. Maybe they don't want the information for 3 months because they're not building their St. Augustine listing on their website until early next year. So that's something that you should agree upon before you break during that meeting and make sure that both parties are comfortable with that timeline. You should always send along all of the materials that you promise. Obviously, since you're going into the meeting with only a couple of things in hand, you clearly have much more marketing collateral back at your office, and depending on the client will depend on what they need. They may need different kinds of information in language, etc. So make sure that whatever you do promise them, you get them in a prompt and professional manner, and you do follow through with that. Never overpromise if you're not sure if your facility can accommodate something. For example, 1,000 people in 30 minutes. Make sure that you are comfortable to say, let me get back with my staff and let me, check on that for you, and I will find out and I will let you know. Never overpromise to any kind of operator or OTA on availability or terms because they don't like it when you have to backtrack. Be patient. A lot of contracts take sometimes many months to many years to come to fruition. So if you are not producing and making money off of these meetings in the next 6 to 8 months, that's okay. That's the norm. It could take longer for any company to slowly turn their ship
and be able to accommodate your location, your type of destination. So that's something you just need to be willing to sit back and wait on. And they do take very long sometimes, but all clients are worth the meet, and all companies are worth making that introduction. And you never know when it's going to line up and be a perfect combination, and they can bring you a good deal of business. And continue to engage. I have kind of a mental interval of when I follow back up again with certain clients, whether we start to do business together or not. And so I kind of have a regular interval where maybe every several months I send a little check-in email, see how it's going, maybe see if anything has changed about their situation, or personally check in on their family members. If we have a conversation about family when we meet, I see how it's going for them and that kind of stuff. And my conversation is not always about business. So that's what I recommend in terms of post-show follow-up. And like I said, the best thing you can do is be patient, be prompt, and stick to all the promises that you made, and sit back, and hopefully it works out very well for many of you, and hopefully you guys can achieve some good business from this.
Let me jump in on one thing. I just finished, and a few of us that are probably on this call just finished the La Cita Latin trade show, appointment show. And most of our operators, when we're doing shows at this point of the year, are selling next year. Please remember, they're not selling the remainder of 2019. They're selling 2020 already. And I had one meeting, they're already selling 2021. So if you know that your prices and your things are going to be changing, please be prepared for that ahead of time. Don't think this is for next year. This might be for the year after, okay, that they're looking for prices. And they're doing what they call is their books. Their books are being done for their travel agents that are selling for them, especially if it's a receptive operator. I was just at a show for Galaxy, which is a large Latin operator, and they have thousands of travel agents that sell through them. So be prepared for your rates. And if you have questions on what rates you should be doing, always ask Chrissy and I. We're there to help you, okay? You could private message us, private email us, and then you can get anything that's on there for us to help you with, okay? Daniel, on our slides, and we apologize, we don't have our email addresses on there. I have no problem you giving out my email or even my cell phone. It's perfectly fine, Daniel, at the end, if we could.
Okay.
That's the same thing for me, Daniel. I apologize. That was an oversight on my part, but you're more than welcome to share my information as well.
Okay, yeah, if anybody needs to contact Nick or Chrissy, you're welcome to contact info@floridaattractions.org, and we'll give you that information.
And remember, we're always on the Facebook page too, on the member page. Chrissy and I are always monitoring that, because that was, something for us to talk about. So if you need anything, does anyone have any questions for Chrissy and I? Wow. Okay.
And we could take some questions at the end too. What I want to do now is thank you, Nick and Chrissy. I want to go over a little bit about the profile creation and the appointment scheduling, which is a big part of it. So if you've registered already, you received an email from us this week with a link to log in. As people are registering, I'm putting them into the system same day, so that they can you could start building your profile and making your appointments. So for instance, most if not everybody on this call should be eligible or registered as a seller. So what I want to do is log in as a seller and kind of show you what it looks like. As described in the email, your username is just going to be the email address that you registered with, and the password is just your first initial and last name. So I set up 2 test accounts just to show you. So once you enter that link I send you, will send you, you should see it here on the screen, it'll send you to the login page for the Meet Max is what it's called. So you'll just log in. On the first page here, your welcome page, it breaks down the 2 steps. So once you've registered, you've done the first step. So really, the next 2 steps are creating your profile and making the meeting request. So you're going to want to create your profile, because that helps the buyers understand your attraction, what you're looking for, and things like that. So it helps them make a little more of an educated decision on when to take appointments and who to take them with. So first off, you'll see up here, we have on the far right, there's an agenda for the day. As you'll see, it kind of just highlights the main points during the day. But as mentioned before, there's 24 appointments in 12-minute intervals with 3-minute break in between. So, and then obviously lunch is built in there, and the registration in the morning. There's also hotel information. We do have a group rate at the Spring Hill Suites at SeaWorld. So the information's here, a link to book the room. So that's housekeeping. So next up, I want to show you the first thing you're going to do, as stated here, is you're going to go to your company profile. So here, this is a test, but this is what it'll look like. So your company name, email, and address will already be in there because that's what you. I just transfer that over from your registration. But here you'll want to add a little description about your business, a URL to your website. You can upload a company logo, and then the profile down here is very important. So you're going to want to check off what type of attraction you are. You can select more than one, who you're interested in meeting with, the services you have available, and the marketing aids that you offer. And here, the company contacts, you can add additional contacts, but you can't add additional reps. I think in the registration, you can just register yourself and maybe a second rep. And if you did register a second rep, they're in the system as well, but you can only take one appointment per company. So you'll complete your company profile, and then once that's completed, we're going to open up the appointment request after this call. I'll send out an email, and as people register as well, I'll add them to the system. But in order to make your meeting request, first thing I just want to highlight on your one-on-one availability up here tab, by default, everyone is available all day. That's how we set it up. Now, if for some reason you don't want to take meetings in the afternoon or before lunch or anything like that, you can come here and uncheck the times you're not available and just save it. Okay, so that way it'll let the person that wants to request a meeting with you that you're not taking meetings at that time. Okay, but again, if you're available all day, no action required. It's already by default. Everything is already checked for you. So so if I want to, I'm a seller like yourself. I want to go in and I want to start making my appointments. You're going to go up here to meeting request. And then right here, if you're a seller, you're going to see buyers on their platform. They're going to see you, the sellers. So here, it's a list of everyone that's registered so far. You can click on their name and view their profile. If they've completed it, you can see their logo, the URL to their website, a little description, and some things they filled out. So their annual gross income, number of years they've been in business, current where they serve, which parts of the state they serve, type of reseller, which Nick and Chrissy discussed, and who they're interested in meeting with. So if you're a water park and you see they're interested in water park, you might want to request a meeting with Booking.com. Now, in order to do that, very simple. On the left, we're not dealing with hundreds of buyers, so you may not really need to use this. But on the left here, you can narrow things down. So if you only want to meet with people that deal with the Keys or Central Florida, you can do that, and it minimizes the listings for you. So you can kind of weed out the ones you're not interested in meeting with. So so to make the appointment, so say for instance I want to meet, I set up a test buyer. So my test buyer is right here. I want to meet with the test buyer. So I'm going to click meet. Now this is simple right here. So you can suggest a time, or if you just hit no, it lets them just put you in a time slot. So for this sake, let's just do no. I don't, I'm available, and I submit. Okay, that's it. Now on their end, and yours too, let's log out of here. Now I'm going to log in as the buyer. And this is just so you can see what it'll look like when on their end, and it's also going to be how you're going to see requests. So now their meeting request has a little drop down that says received. So that means they have meeting requests that they need to look at. So they're going to go here, and there's my test seller right there. So don't worry about interest level; those are for bigger shows. But here you just click on the little drop down. You can set up the meeting, or they can decline you. You know, if you're a water park and they don't really do business with water parks because they're seasonal or whatever, then they'll just decline. You know, but I anticipate everyone will meet with everybody at our show. So if they're going to meet, they can click meet, and now this is where they can set up the time. So say they want to meet at 10 a.m., submit. So they're done. You're on their schedule, and they can view their schedule, and it shows you right there. And this is a cool tool because you can also export your calendar. Once we close all the appointment making, you can export your calendar, and then it's right there for you, nice and convenient, so you can see what you have. So so the buyer have accepted your appointment. So now on your end, log back in. Okay, so now when you log in, you can go to your meeting requests, receive, and then you can see that. And then if you go to your schedule, you'll see the test buyers on there because they received. So it's twofold. They can request meetings with you. You can request meetings with them. You have to decline or accept them for them to go into your schedule. So if you just ignore them, then they won't go into your schedule. So you definitely want to log in periodically every couple days or so and check your meeting requests up here in the tab. Go to received, and it'll tell you the status of those requests. So that's it. That's it on that end. Like I said, you know, if you have any questions, you can email info@floridaattractions.org. I can answer them for you. But you will receive periodic notices like, hey, you haven't created your profile yet, or you know, be sure you're logging in and checking your appointments. But the big thing, especially, is now if you've already set up that profile, then go ahead and get a jump on it this afternoon when I send out the email, and you can start making appointments. So does anybody have any questions about this process or the software? And I just want to add, yeah, please, the meeting requests will all have to be completed by 5 p.m. on October 1st. So we got a couple weeks, but yeah, just keep checking the site, and that's it. If you have any questions, contact us. But if anybody has any questions now, I'm happy to, about the software, I'm happy to answer. And then Nick and Chrissy can answer some questions about the show in general, if you have any. Okay.
This is Nick
yeah.
again. I just wanted to let you know that Booking.com just actually sent me an email going, I need to figure out how to get on this. So they're trying to register right now, too, to start taking appointments.
That's fine. I'll send them the email again. Yeah.
Please. Thank you.
So since you're going to be in Orlando, we just want to bring this up. At the same location, Christy mentioned it earlier, but the 2 days prior to the TnT show, we are having a sales and marketing workshop. So TnT is where you do business. Sales and marketing workshop. We're going to have we got a really great packed agenda for you that Nick, Chrissy, and Elizabeth Risotto at Extreme Action Park, and Pam Robertson at Zoo Tampa have worked hard. We've got panels, roundtables, some great presentations. It's 2 days of just some really good content. So if you go to faevents.com, you can register. Or if you want to look at the full agenda, we've got a detailed agenda of all the speakers and their presentations and the titles and all that. And last thing I want to highlight, and then we'll wrap up. So the key dates to keep in mind. So next Friday, TnT appointment show registration is going to close. So all of the buyers and all of the sellers that are going to be at the show will have registered and will be in the system taking appointments and all that. And as they, like I said, I'm not going to wait till the 27th. As they come in, I'm going to put them into our MeetMax software. So just keep checking back and make your appointments as you see them. October 1st, as mentioned earlier, the appointment scheduling must be completed by 5. So that's that. Just get a leg up on it, get a nice full schedule for the day. And then on the 3rd of October, we'll publish the appointments. So that'll be that, and we'll send you the final schedule. But you also have access to the schedule in real time on your account on MeetMax. And then October 4th, the Sales and Marketing Workshop registration closes. And then the following week, we've got the Sales and Marketing Workshop, Tuesday and Wednesday, the 8th and the 9th. And I want to add also registration to that. We're going to do a dinner at Medieval Times, which is included in that. And it also includes entry to our Networking Nights Orlando that Wednesday night. So it's like a really packed week, but should be fun. And then the TnT show, appointment show will be on the 10th, that Thursday, October 10th. So, but that's all I had. Thank you all for your attention. If you have any more questions about MeetMax, or you have questions for Nick and Chrissy about the show, yeah, now's the time. We'll take a few minutes.
Let me jump in, Daniel, before anyone asks questions. Daniel gave you dates when the electronic booking of appointments is gonna stop. Please remember, manually you can still do appointments by, if you haven't heard from somebody, just you could contact them through the thing on an email and see if they would take an appointment if they haven't answered. Always remember, manuals are always good. If we've done shows before, we know we can still do manual appointments and just put them into our schedule, handwrite them into our schedule. All righty? So it doesn't mean just stop doing everything once that happens. Still keep going.
And just make sure you're not double booking. Like, don't make sure you're not, your time slot's not getting filled on MeetMax, and then you're making a manual appointment for the same time slot, because then you'll be making someone upset.
All righty. Any questions for Chrissy and I? All right.
And I have recorded this webinar, and I'll put it up on the event page if anyone needs to go back and review it. So that's all.
Everybody, this is Mike Donaldson. I just wanted to state again, remember, we do have a block of rooms set aside for any of you coming to Orlando for any of the events, whether it's TnT or any of your staff are coming to the Sales and Marketing Workshop in Orlando that week. Spring Hill Suites by Marriott at SeaWorld, as Daniel mentioned. And I just want to reiterate the cutoff date for the room reservations for our group rate of 105 is actually this coming Monday, September 23rd. So don't hesitate in booking your room. So.
And that hotel is not far from Andretti, because Andretti's, I'm at Andretti right now doing this call. So it's not far at all. It's not even 10 minutes down the road. All right, I guess we're good, Daniel.
All right. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.